As we all know, it's getting harder and harder to find parts for the Warrior. Many companies are getting away from making stuff for us, and we get stuck waiting and searching for parts to mod our bikes. Sometimes you luck out and you get stuff that's in great shape, and sometimes you get stuff that can use a little bit of help. Today we're actually going to take a Speedstar exhaust, clean it up, paint it, and get it installed on the bike, so stick around. Hey guys, what's up? Bryan here. Thanks for tuning in today. Today we're going to be finishing out our winter mods to get the bike ready for riding season this year. Last season we were riding with the Cobra Swept exhaust, and I was actually really happy with them. I love the sound of a 2-into-2, plus the curves on it really match the curves of the bike. Now like I said earlier though, parts are getting harder and harder to find. When I ordered that exhaust in, I had searched for probably about a week looking for a black set before finally coming across one at nicecycle.com. I was pretty stoked when I found it. I had a vision in my head of what I was going for, and this exhaust was a major part of it. I went ahead and emailed them because at the time the title said black, but the picture was showing chrome. I got an email back assuring me that they were black, so I went ahead and put an order in for them. Probably about 2 days later, I got a call back stating that they had discontinued the black and could either refund me or send me the chrome exhaust and include free shipping. To say that I was disappointed, it's an understatement. I may or may not have handled that one very well. Long story short, I settled for the chrome. Now I had already ordered in black bars, grips, and a few other things and had to rush to get all those switched to chrome as well. It ended up being quite a hassle, so Nice Cycle, if you ever see this, get bent. I'll never use you guys again or recommend you to anyone. When someone emails you a question, get a correct answer instead of making an assumption. Sorry guys, still just a little bit salty about that one. But as you can see, over a year later, and they still haven't even changed it. So if you guys are looking for a Cobra Swept in chrome, order this one, and I'd imagine you could at least get free shipping out of it. Maybe it'll give them motivation to change it. So in the end, I got everything in and installed, but it wasn't the vision I had in my head. I planned on taking the exhaust and having it coated, but I couldn't bring myself to do it to a brand new exhaust with absolutely no blemishes in the chrome. Now fast forward to about 6 months ago. I'd been doing some deals with Todd Mitchell out of Hawaii, making him decals for his band, stripes for his bike, and trying to come up with a set of stripes that we both thought would look good on the Warrior. Now he actually ended up giving me a really great deal on a rare Speedstar exhaust, so I jumped on it. Sold mine, got this one, and hoped that the chrome wasn't in the greatest of shape so that I could paint it black. Now if anybody's ever dealt with Todd, he's an awesome guy, and of course that wasn't the case. The exhaust came in and the chrome was in great shape. I rolled it over and over, debating on whether to paint it or not. I still had the vision in my head of black instead of the chrome, and I wanted to get there. So I decided to go for it. I bought some black grill paint and a few other supplies, and today we're going to paint that exhaust and get it installed. Now this whole process will take a couple of days to do right, and it's not something that you want to rush. Like I've said before, prep work will make for a better finished product, so don't skimp on it. Take your time and do it right, and you'll thank yourself in the end. We're going to be using Rustoleum high heat grill paint, and we'll also be needing some fine steel wool and a 160 grit sandpaper to get some adhesion to that chrome. Now while we're at it, we'll also be installing new exhaust seals today. They're not terribly priced, so it's not a big deal just to replace them while we're in there. Now I'll leave links down below to the paint, seals, and sandpaper that I'll be using today, so feel free to check those out. Now if done right, this should last for a while, but periodically will need to be touched up. Well, let's go ahead and get out there, prep that exhaust, and get it painted. Now the first thing that we're going to do is go ahead and take the exhaust off. Now I'm not going to really get a whole lot into this. We'll get a little bit more into it when we go ahead and reinstall it. But the first thing that you're going to want to do is go ahead and remove your controls here on the right side to go ahead and let the exhaust slip out. Now you're only going to have your 2 bolts here, and then you're going to have, more than likely, depending on what exhaust system you're running, you're going to have a support bracket in the back. So we're going to go ahead and get this exhaust removed, and then we'll go ahead and start scuffing it up and start painting it. And you can see that once I got my exhaust off, I went ahead and pulled my heat shields. Now depending on what exhaust system you're running, this may not be necessary. You may actually be able to leave the exhaust system on and just pull the shields. Now for the Speedstar exhaust, unfortunately there's a few rivets that hold it in place, so I had to go ahead and pull the full exhaust off to drill out those rivets to go ahead and pull the heat shields off. And that's just going to make it a lot easier to work with. You know, this is a lot lighter than this is. Now the first thing that I did was actually took some really fine steel wool and went ahead and cleaned it up. Now if you take your time with that, you'll be able to actually get off all the grease and even most of the rust that forms on it. So go ahead, take your time, clean it up with the steel wool first, and from there we're going to go ahead and actually move to sanding it. Now you can see on this piece, I've actually gone ahead and started to sand. Now I went with a 160 grit, and you can see the difference between the scuffed up part here that I've already sanded and the chrome part. Now you want to get it nice and scuffed up so that you can get a really good adhesion for that paint. So we're going to go ahead and finish the rest of this out, and then we'll go ahead and actually move on to painting. Alright, now once you've got your chrome nice and scraped up, you're going to want to go ahead and wipe it off and clean it with some wax and grease remover. So let's go ahead and do that really quick, and then we'll actually get to spraying some paint on. Alright, now once you've got your exhaust clean, you're ready to start painting. Now we're going to do about 4 light coats, and we're going to give about 30 minutes of dry time in between each one. Now on that 4th coat, we're actually going to let it set for about 24 hours before we try to reinstall it on the bike so that that paint has enough time to cure. So let's go ahead and get this painted up. Alright, first coat down. Let's go ahead and give it about 30 minutes and we'll come out here and spray the second one. Alright, now once you've given that first coat about 30 minutes, you're ready to go ahead and start spraying your second coat. Now very first thing you want to do when you start spraying that second coat is look for the parts that didn't get sprayed in the first. Go ahead and hit those first and then come back through and hit the rest of it. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, now that we got that second coat on, we're going to go ahead and let it set for another 30 minutes. Now guys, make sure if you're doing this that you're keeping those coats nice and light. Make sure you're getting coverage and nice full coverage on it, but make sure that you're not getting it so heavy that you're actually having it run. So we'll go ahead, like I said, let this set for another 30 minutes. We'll come out and do that third coat. Alright, we're ready to start the third coat. Now you should have nice coverage on everything, but go ahead and before you start this third coat, walk around, get a really good look at everything on the bottom side of it, on some of the curves, some of the nooks and crannies and everything, and make sure that you've got everything nice and covered before you start this third coat. And once you've done that, you're ready to go ahead and start the third coat. Let's go ahead and spray this, and then we'll go ahead and let it set again. Okay, let's go ahead and give that 30 more minutes and we'll come out and do that final coat. Alright guys, we're ready for the fourth and final coat. Now we're going to go ahead, spray this, and then we're going to let it set for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and transport it to my garage so that it can set for the next 24 hours. And then after that, we'll go ahead and install it. So let's go ahead and spray this, let it set, and then we'll get to installing it. Alright, well we've got that last coat on. We'll go ahead and let it set for about 30 minutes, kind of let it dry up just a little bit before we go ahead and move it to the garage to set for the next 24 hours. Now when you spray this, you don't really want it to be too cold or too humid or anything like that. So make sure that you've got it at a decent temperature before you start spraying. Otherwise you run the risk of messing up the paint. So like I said, we'll go ahead and let this set for about 30 minutes. We'll go ahead and move to the garage, let it set for 24 hours, and the next time I see you guys, we'll actually be reinstalling it. Okay, now we've given our heat shields a couple days to cure that paint and we're ready to reinstall. Now the first thing that we're actually going to do is go ahead and reinstall our exhaust, and then we'll actually go ahead and put the heat shields on afterwards. Now we're going to go ahead and while we're at it, we're going to replace these two gaskets for our exhaust. So let's go ahead and pull those out. And when you actually go to reinstall this, You want to go ahead and make sure you put the exhaust on and all together, but don't tighten anything up until everything is situated in exactly where you want it. All right, once you've got everything mocked up, you're ready to go ahead and start tightening everything down. Now, you want to go ahead and start with the 2 front bolts here, and then go ahead and tighten up your bracket. That way, this middle part has enough room to kind of adjust for everything. Now, I've already gone ahead and tightened my 2 front ones, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten up my bracket back here. All right, now let's go ahead and tighten the connecting piece here. Guys, thanks for tuning in today. I hope this video was able to walk you through that process of getting that exhaust sanded down and painted up. If it was able to help you out, be sure to like and share it. And if you haven't yet, be sure to scroll down and hit that subscribe button and that bell to get notified to new videos. Other than that, we'll see you next time.